Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. So glad that you're here. My name's Erin Hart. I'm a registered nurse health coach, and I help women who are wanting to lose weight for the last time with a sugar and flour free lifestyle and get off of that dieting roller coaster ride. I am, I have experienced that myself, the dieting roller coaster. At one point in my life, I found myself at 284 pounds and just felt so powerless and out of control around food. And I knew that I had more that I wanted out of my life. So I found a sugar and flour free lifestyle, and it just completely not only transformed me physically, but also throughout the process, I was able to transform mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and have just become a new person. So, I've been in maintenance for a while and just felt so called to help people who, like I was, who struggle with their relationship with food and want more out of life. So my program is called The Year of You. It's a year-long program to offer guidance, support, and accountability to people who just really need that level of support to be able to achieve their goals. You can definitely do this on your own, but what I have found is that for a lot of people, it's a struggle, and they need that extra level of support that can really help them to blow past any obstacle that gets in their way and achieve peace with their food, freedom from cravings, and eventually the confidence to chase their real dreams, to do what they're really meant to do in this life. So I have a funny story because my eye is like, yesterday I was thinking like, should I even do this video? Because yesterday I woke up and my eye was literally the size of a golf ball. It was so swollen and had somehow my eyelid got infected. And so I'm like, oh, this is going to be an interesting week because all that I do is just like over Zoom and, recording videos and Facebook and stuff. So it just made me laugh so much. But I'm here because even with my weird eye, because I just want you guys to know that this is so important and life is so short. We can't wait to start chasing our dreams. And I want to help you this week. So it's just a miracle to me that we have medicine. I've been putting that erythromycin ointment in my eyes, like that they put in babies' eyes when they're born. So I've been like walking around like no makeup, just like goofy. And it's just like so funny. But it's a miracle to me that my eye is not the size of a golf ball anymore. And one day, what an amazing world that we live in, that I can talk to you in your home, on your phone, or on your computer, and we're in different countries or just around the country. It's so fun. Like, what an amazing world we live in. And yesterday, when I was thinking of doing this video with like a golf ball sized eyeball, I was, and of course, it's so much better now. Seriously, you would laugh if you would have seen me yesterday. But it just really brought me back to my why, my deep why of why I do these videos, these Monday Mindset videos, why I do this. My business is because I just feel so called to get this message out to you that there is hope, that if you are suffering and struggling with food addiction, if you feel like you're powerless against your cravings and that it's impossible to lose weight and to live in a healthy body, I'm talking to you, and I want you to know that you can do this. If I can do it, you can absolutely do it too. My deep why for my business is just, I truly believe that it's my faith belief that we are all children of God. And that means that we're all brothers and sisters, that you are my brother, you're my sister. And I want to help you. I think God has a purpose for us being on this earth. and that your life has purpose and meaning, and that there are things that only you can do in this world. The things that you need to do, the people you need to help, the things that you need to achieve. And if you are obsessed with food, if you are obsessed with the number on the scale and your weight and weight loss and on that dieting roller coaster, it's really hard for you to be able to focus on the real reason that you're here, right? The true purpose of your life. So I just want you to know that you have such a compelling future ahead of you. Such a compelling future. And I don't want your food addiction or your disordered eating or just your struggles with food, your relationship with food, to rob you from that. And if you are thinking about food and your weight all the time, you are being robbed. I never realized how much mental energy it took me to be thinking about food all the time, and all the time it took eating, all the resources it took to pay for all the food, and all this stuff when I was 284 pounds and in that really dark and hard place, just how much it took from me and how much it was robbing me. When I got to my healthy sized body and I felt more in control around food and peaceful with my relationship with food, free from cravings, it just opened up my whole world. Last fall, I went with some friends to Zion National Park in Utah, and we hiked Angel's Landing, which is just one of the most magnificent places in the world. It is so breathtaking. And I did that hike growing up almost every year. But when I had gained all of that weight, over the course of about 10 years after I got married, I was in school working, all the stress, and I gained all that weight. I thought I would never be able to hike that hike again. But last fall, I did it. I did it again. It's a 5-mile hike. It's like pretty strenuous, a little strenuous, so it was such a magical experience, and I was being robbed of that for so many years. And so, it's not just about the years in our life, it's really all about the life in our years. I want you to have a more joyful, full life. So having a healthy relationship with food is a really important part of that. And having a healthy body where you have energy and vitality and confidence, that is the goal. That is my goal, to help you to achieve that. So I want to invite you to do an exercise this week. This is something that I have found really helpful in my own program. And if you have the PDF workbook in my program, you can turn to the page that says if-then scenarios. So this is just a really helpful thing to do if you've been living a sugar and flour-free lifestyle for a while and you have a little bit of experience. Sometimes you can start to recognize some patterns. You can recognize patterns of maybe things that are consistently throwing you off of your plan, like triggers for you, maybe environmental triggers or certain people or just any certain scenarios that when your program is in trouble, when you have this trigger, right? So I want you to start just going throughout your program and trying to recognize patterns. Recognize the patterns of when you see your program in trouble, when you know that it's like that slippery slope. Okay, what are those for you? Like, what are the slippery slopes for you that you can see that those little deviations can turn into a downward spiral? So what are those for you? Watch for patterns, okay? Pay attention to your program. And so what I want you to do is just write down on the page, there's just 2 areas for the if then. I would encourage you to print off a few of those papers, like maybe do 6 and or like do print off 3 papers and just do like 6 total if then scenarios. And ask yourself, okay, well, when do I know my program's in trouble? What are my slippery slopes? And write those down. And then the other part I want you to write down are the things that strengthen your program, the things that you've noticed that you've done through your experience, that when you do those things, you feel stronger, you feel like you're on your plan, you feel in control and peaceful with your food. What are those for you? So let me give you some examples. And I can only give my own examples, right? Because I'm right there on this journey with you, and we're just in different phases of the journey, right? But I so relate with probably a lot of the things you're going through. So some of the slippery slopes I've noticed in my program are Costco. When I go to Costco, especially if I go with the kids and I come home with $400 of food to put away, that is a triggering situation for me to not start eating some of the food that I'm putting away. And so another slippery slope that I've noticed in my program are like bites, licks, and tastes with large meal prep. Sometimes I do meal prep for the whole week. And so having bites, licks, and tastes during that meal prep can really add up. And sometimes it, one becomes many. So we just have to I have seen in my program that can become a slippery slope to me. Like one little bite off plan can just lead to then like I'm putting everything in my mouth while I'm preparing this food. So another one is just exercise. So like if I am skiing or doing something really physical, like hiking, like a big hike, I notice I'm a lot hungrier and my brain just wants me to eat a lot more that day. And which, like that's a different topic for a different scenario, how to adjust your plan for exercise. But another slippery slope for me is sleep deprivation. So I noticed that I struggle a lot more on the days that I'm sleep deprived. I have a lot more food thoughts. I just have less willpower. I usually haven't done my habits because I've woken up late. And so some of those willpower replenishing habits like prayer, meditation, exercise in the morning have gone out the window. So sleep is really important. And yeah, just maybe another one is like stress and anxiety. So if I'm feeling that fight or flight in my body, it's just, I find that very triggering and can kind of take me back to those old coping behaviors that I experienced when I was, 300 pounds. So I don't want to go back to those coping behaviors. We're learning new coping behaviors. But those are some of the slippery slopes I've noticed in my life. And I share those with you just because you probably relate, and just to kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about. What we're trying to do is recognize patterns. That's what successful people do, is you recognize patterns, you find what isn't working, and you try to do that less. You find what does work for you and try to do that more. So the other part of that is finding like 5-6 things that protect your program. What are the things that replenish you, that give you strength and courage and make you want to keep going? So what are those things in your program? So we talked about the slippery slopes. Let's talk about the other side. What are the things that strengthen you? So a few of the things that I have written down are connection. So one of the key, and I'm an introvert, very introverted, which, people may think is weird because I'm like here talking to you live on it, Facebook Live, but, which is like way out of my comfort zone, by the way, but I do it anyway. So Connection. Connection is so key. And I've learned through my food addiction recovery that this is a key piece for me in sustainability. Addiction thrives in isolation and shame and guilt. So I found it really important for me to be very open and to make sure that I'm not hiding anything, that I'm talking with people and connecting, but especially with a buddy. Like, find a buddy, a guide, a coach who you can connect with every single day, who you can text when you start to have food thoughts, or when you do go off of your plan, that you can tell them what happened. It needs to be someone who's empathetic and non-judgmental. So, for me, reaching out on social media and just being so open about it has been an incredibly important part of my program that has kept me on track. So that's one of the things I found. Prayer is another one. So just sometimes in those moments of desperation, like an immediate prayer for help and strength, but also, like, I've found it's so incredibly important for me to reach out to my higher power and to reach out to God and just ask for help daily. Having that practice of prayer and connection with God and seeking strength above my own has been really important to me. Committing my food to God has really taken up my accountability, right? So connection with God, I have found really important for me. Sleep, as I mentioned before, sleep deprivation, and there's a lot of science behind that. The hormonal changes that happen when we don't get enough sleep, it increases our hunger hormone and the ghrelin, and we just are a lot hungrier. So sleep is so important. Getting a full 7 to 8 hours of sleep just helps me to feel so much more in control. And especially if I can go to bed on time and then wake up on time, so I have enough time in the morning to do my morning routine that includes a lot of my self-care practices, that I have found to be essential in my program. Meditation and nervous system renewal is another one that has really strengthened me and helped me to overcome a lot of cravings and urges to go off plan, is just learning how to breathe. Visualizing emotions outside of me, moving them to the corner, shrinking them down, finding different techniques to manage emotions, to get out of the fight or flight mode into the calm, rest and digest parasympathetic mode. Just trying to really, so I found it really helpful to just sometimes lay on the floor, put my feet up on the wall, yoga, doing a body scan, different breath work. So there's so many different ways to do that. We can get into that more in another video, but that I have found really important. The fifth one I have is music, books, podcasts, scriptures, talks, videos. It's really important for me that I'm constantly filling my mind with things that are inspiring and motivating and hopeful and encouraging. I do not watch the news anymore because of just, I don't want to live in fear, and I want to just focus on where I'm going. So where I'm going, not on where I've been. I want to focus on, what I want, not what I don't want. So really what has helped me to develop a really strong mindset is music, books, podcasts, scriptures, talks, and videos. So I'm just constantly filling my mind with things that inspire and encourage me and give me hope. And then the sixth one I have is just service. One of the things that I'm so grateful for as a coach is my my dedication to coaching other people has really, I have been the one who has benefited the most from those connections. Being able to reach out and support others who are struggling strengthens my program. So, as you are doing this exercise for yourself, I want you to just to isolate and identify the scenarios where you know that your program's in trouble, the triggers that where you go off plan, and then the things that strengthen you and that help you to stick to your plan and to be successful. So start looking for those patterns, and the way that you use the if-then scenario paper, or you can even just do this in a journal, like in your blank notebook, write down those triggers. So like if you are, we'll say going to Costco for your example, right? If that's your trigger like me. If you're going to Costco, then, this is how you are going to successfully navigate that experience. And you can use some of the things that strengthen you, but maybe just make a specific plan. Like when you go to Costco or when you face one of your triggers, right? What are the steps that you take? What obstacles can you anticipate, and how can you make a plan to overcome them before they even happen? So if you do this, then in our mind, it really helps with the automaticity and the automation that every time I have this experience, this is how I handle it now. And it really just can be helpful in overcoming those obstacles that are constantly throwing you off of your plan. So, hindsight is always 2020, and that is one of the benefits of having experience and gaining experience, having time in your program. If you have made mistakes in your program, if you're discouraged and defeated and feeling frustrated with yourself because of your lack of progress, it's fine. Like, just learn from your experience. It's so valuable. Hindsight is always 2020. And I think of like a parent as a metaphor, right? Like a parent looking back, they can just, they can see like, oh, like I could have maybe, I'm talking like when your kids are adults and you're looking back and seeing how you parented when you were a younger parent, right? Like, oh, okay, like I just really kind of messed that up, or there are things that I would probably do differently, right? Like hindsight is so 2020. But the thing with our programs, it's good is that like as you are gaining that experience, you can look back on your program, see what you've done what you would have done differently, and start doing it differently. Start implementing it. So just doing that self-reflection, and don't worry if you're not there yet. Have a growth mindset. If you're not good at it yet, it doesn't mean that you never will be. The past does not equal the future. You can achieve extraordinary success, even if you never have before. So just use that word yet. If you are frustrated and you're not seeing results, say, like I'm not seeing results yet, right? Just believe that you can do it. You can do it. And we can't rewrite the beginning of our story, but we can write the ending of our story. So I invite you to do this if-then scenario and exercise. It's a really powerful thing, and get it in your brain. Write it out longhand if you can. When you're writing things out longhand, you create tens of thousands neural connections. So, and then if you're just typing it out or thinking about it, so talk about it, like verbally say it out loud, even in the mirror. You want to get this internalized into your brain. Write it out in your journal, say it out loud, talk to yourself in the mirror with expression and emotion, feeling. That is how you can really internalize these principles and then start doing them. And then with experience, you gain confidence and you progress. So keep going. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for being here. If you are struggling with your program and you're not in the year of you, please reach out to me. I would love to connect with you. You can find me at erinharthealthcoaching.com. So www.erinharthealthcoaching.com, and sign up for a free, no obligation 30-minute coaching call with me. And I would love to just go through your program and help you with whatever challenges you're facing. But just know that it is possible. If it seems impossible, the impossible is possible. You can do this. I will talk to you next week. Bye, guys.